Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't have to, and today we are talking about Sofi Technologies SOFI stock and how it can increase by over 17 times. We're also going to go over what analysts think of this company. I'm going to walk you through the math of how it can actually increase by 17 times from now until 2030. We're going to be going over their financials, fundamentals, the latest stock news, and why I am extremely bullish on SoFi. For more videos like this one, remember to go and smash that like button right now, subscribe if you are new, comment your thoughts down below about Sofi Technologies, and without further ado, let's jump right into today's stories. Sofi Technologies offers their consumers an all-inclusive finance app that offers any financial product that a regular person would need in their day-to-day life, and we're actually going to go through the various things that they offer on their app and why I think that SoFi will be the Amazon of finance. Currently, the SOFI stock price is trading at a fantastic discount of around $9 per share right now, while the low-end analyst price target for this year is $10, so we do have upside from the stock's current price, even if we take into consideration the most bearish analyst price target. The average price consensus for the next 12 months is $16 per share, so we have substantial upside from the stock's current price, and the most bullish price prediction for the company is $22 per share, while their fair value for the company is set to be around $20. Right now, around 12 analysts currently cover Sofi Technologies, with 6 of these analysts saying that it's a fantastic buying opportunity right now, while the remaining 6 analysts say to hold the stock, while no analyst says to sell the stock or that the stock is going to underperform the overall market. However, with that being said, further in the video, we're going to talk about how 2 analysts have actually lowered their price targets for the stock, and when we go over the latest stock news for the company, I'm going to tell you why that makes absolutely no sense. So, as you probably know, SoFi is a personal finance company that has an app that is literally rewriting the rules of consumer banking. SoFi is set to be the bank of the future, and many investors and analysts are calling it the Amazon of finance. The SoFi stock recently has been trending downward. However, this is due to macroeconomic factors, and as you can see from the stock price chart, it has trended downward very aggressively. However, because of this, this offers a fantastic buying opportunity for long-term holders, because eventually this stock is supposed to surge and make people a lot of money, especially if you're going to be a long-term holder in this company, and I'll talk about why that is, and I'll explain the math later in the video. So make no mistake that this sell-off is actually completely unlogical, unreasonable, irrational, and unjustified, and it's really just silly based on the author of this article, which believes that this stock can 17x by 2030, which would be absolutely insane. And he actually says that this is a conservative price estimate for this company. Now, I radically disagree with him that this is a conservative price estimate for Sofi Technologies. A conservative price estimate would say that the SoFi stock price could at least 5x by 2030. However, this author clearly thinks that it's going to 17x, so let's look at his overall data and his assumptions to see that if this is something that is actually plausible. However, even if it's not plausible, even if SoFi experiences a third of this growth, this is going to be a phenomenal company to hold because it would outperform the majority of other stocks on the stock market between now and 2030. If you didn't know, SoFi Technologies was mainly created to give customers an ideal digital experience instead of having customers and consumers going to a brick and mortar store, having to wait in a banking line just to go to the teller and tell them all of your personal information about your finances and them seeing your personal business, when actually SoFi Technologies has a digital platform that mainly started out by ushering cheap financial student loan refinancing, and that's actually what they're mainly known for. This segment still brings SoFi Technologies a large portion of their overall revenues. However, clearly SoFi really likes to help investors and students that have a lot of financial student loan debt. The SoFi CEO even says that the current Biden administration should erase around $10,000 for borrowers regarding student loan forgiveness. The SoFi app is extremely comprehensive, and it offers basically anything that someone would need in terms of financing. So they offer SoFi Money, which is a cash management account that will take the place of a traditional checking or savings account that has no fees, but it offers around 1% APY returns on any money that's currently in that account or attached to a debit card. They also have SoFi Invest, which is a mobile investing account where SoFi is going to act as a brokerage where you can buy and sell ETFs, cryptocurrencies, and of course individual stocks. You can even invest into companies pre-IPO by investing into pre-IPO shares, which is a very cool feature of SoFi Technologies. SoFi also offers credit cards. You have SoFi Relay, which is their budgeting software tool, and they also have SoFi Education, which educates their consumers and investors on how to manage their money properly. So SoFi Technologies app is literally a bank just in one singular app, and and it also educates people on how they can build wealth over time and manage their money properly, and of course I am all for that. This is why when I've seen the recent weakness in the SOFI stock price, I have been buying this company hand over fist, but again, if you all know me, I am a long-term risk-averse investor, and I don't have any singular stock make up more than 5% of my portfolio. So now that we know SoFi Technologies is putting the hurt on traditional banks because they are completely digitalized, how are they faring with their current competition? Well, there is a plethora of other companies that are trying to reinvent the consumer finance experience. However, SoFi Technologies stands out from all of these other fintech companies, and they are also a leader in this space. Many of the other companies in this space only have a few 100,000 users, while SoFi Technologies has around 3.5 million active users on their platform. And this allows them to generate around $1.5 billion, which is the revenue projection for this year. As you can see from the chart on screen, they are very rapidly increasing their overall membership, and we will talk more about that later. So right now, SoFi Technologies has very little competition, and they're unrivaled because they're such a leader in this space. Also, they have a phenomenal management team. Their CEO used to be the chief financial officer at Twitter, and before that, he was actually the head of global banking over at Goldman Sachs, which came after he was the chief financial officer of the NFL. Yes, the NFL, as in the National Football League. Also, SoFi's current CFO or chief financial officer used to be the former top financer at Uber. The CMO used to be the head of global corporate marketing over at Intuit, and SoFi's president was formerly the president of USAA Bank. So these are all gigantic companies. However, the list continues to go because their management team is so solid. Their chief risk officer used to hold the same chief risk officer role over at Citibank, and their product head used to be the vice president of Amazon's Alexa shopping group. SoFi also has fantastic employees, which come from other banks such as Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and this would include their analysts as well. On top of that, they have another set of employees that come from other companies such as Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Alphabet, and Google, and of course Netflix. So they have not only the dream team in terms of management, they also have very experienced employees, which could set up SoFi Technologies as being the Amazon of finance, which is why the author of this article believes that it can 17x in the next 8 years. He believes this is mainly going to be due to their flywheel business model and growth strategy, and basically what this growth strategy and business model implies is that SoFi is going to add new members, and once they add a new member and SoFi brings them into the SoFi ecosystem, they will continuously cross-sell or upsell that customer to rapidly increase their average revenue per customer, and we have actually seen this in their earnings report. So clearly SoFi Technologies, their flywheel growth strategy is working, and they are truly going to be the bank of the future. However, now let's break down the math of how plausible it is for SoFi Technologies to literally 17x. While the author of this article says it's very practical, I don't think it's very practical, honestly. I think the company can easily 5x in the future, but 17x is actually too bullish in my personal opinion. However, both of us would indicate buying the dip right now could be a fantastic investment opportunity, especially over the long term. However, the author of this article justifies his claim that SoFi Technologies can literally 17x in the next 8 years, is he says that right now there's around 210 million people in the United States that are 18 years old or over, and he believes that SoFi Technologies is going to acquire 20% of these people into SoFi Technologies' ecosystem based on their current member growth. This would imply a 2030 member base of around 42 million users. Out of these 42 million users, they're mainly going to use 3 products that SoFi offers, which is money, investing, and credit cards. And this is going to be due to their flywheel growth strategy that we just talked about. So now the author multiplies 42 million users by 3, which stands for each product, such as money, invest, and credit cards, to have around 126 million products sold from SoFi's perspective. The author goes on to say that the average revenue per product will be around $200, which means that their revenue by 2030 will be around $25 billion. And if you anticipate a price to earnings multiple of 20 based on their wide competitive moat and their scale toward a 30% EBITDA margin, their net profits could eclipse $5.5 billion by 2030. If we add these together, this would make SoFi Technologies' market cap $150 $110 billion, which is more than 17 times today's market cap of $6.5 billion, and that's how he calculates his 17x prediction. Now, what I do like about this author is that he does lay out his estimates in a very good visual format. So if you look on screen right now, this is all the math that he did to calculate a 17 times X increase in SoFi's overall market cap and therefore their current stock price. Now, although I do disagree with him, I do agree with him in the fact that I love SoFi Technologies. I think that they are extremely competitive in the finance technology space, and I personally am heavily invested into SoFi Technologies. Now, with this extremely bullish view, I want to be a little more conservative because I want to jump over to a Seeking Alpha article where SoFi Technologies' SOFI stock price has actually received two downgrades, one from Bank of America and the other one from Morgan Stanley. Now, despite this, I do think that SoFi Technologies is undervalued, and I also think that they are a fantastic long-term company. We also see fantastic insider buying in the SOFI stock price. Specifically, in March, their CEO actually spent over $1 million buying up more SoFi Technology stock, along with other investments from senior leadership buying up more stocks so they can hold, which means that the current stock price is trading at a fantastic discount right now. So let's go deeper into this. So SoFi Technologies was downgraded by both Bank of America and Morgan Stanley, despite the company breaking over $1 billion worth of revenue. The company also had good news receiving its bank charter and acquiring Technisys, which is going to help not only lower expenses, but also increase overall revenue even more throughout 2022 and 2023. I also want to add that there is potential that the SoFi stock can experience a short squeeze, because right now SoFi Technologies is one of the most shorted stocks, coming in at around a 21.4% short interest. And if the stock could short squeeze, which means that we see a rapid rise in price due to too many short sellers and they can't cover themselves, it will cause the stock price to absolutely skyrocket. So it's good to see that the CEO of SoFi is actually aggressively buying shares right now while the SoFi stock price is trading at a discount of only around $9. Another thing to look forward to is that the student loan moratorium is supposed to end, which, according to professionals and analysts, would drive around a 70% increase in student loan originations and refinancing, which is going to give them loads of revenues. Also, previously, Morgan Stanley was actually really bullish on the company, and they gave the stock around a $34 price target, while now the current stock price targets are hovering around $15 per share, which still presents fantastic upside opportunity in the overall stock price. Now, it begs the question, what did Bank of America downgrade SoFi Technologies to? Well, they downgraded it from a buy rating to a neutral rating, but kept their $14 price target, while on the other hand, Morgan Stanley recently downgraded SoFi Technologies to equal weight, and they actually decreased their price target down to $10 in fears that the student loan moratorium won't end in May and it's actually going to be extended, which would really hurt the company. But in my personal opinion, I think that's already been factored in. SoFi Technologies has done extremely well, so to me that makes no sense why Morgan Stanley would actually decrease their price target for SoFi Technologies. Just in the last couple of weeks, 11 insiders have purchased around $1.88 million worth of SoFi Technologies, and if you look on screen, we can actually see the dates of when they did that. And this makes me extremely bullish on SoFi Technologies. What also makes me extremely bullish is that SoFi Technologies, like I said earlier, offers cryptocurrencies, and now they actually have a zero-fee cryptocurrency feature to let members buy cryptocurrencies automatically. And to me, this is fantastic, because SoFi Technologies literally is for the younger generation, mainly due to its digitalization and the fact that they target young high earners that are just coming out of college. They are going to absolutely go crazy for cryptocurrencies. But I would love to hear your thoughts. Comment your thoughts down below, like this video right now, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next YT video.